Hello everyone, my name is Dina Redinger, founder and president of ACE Coaching Company. We know today there's 30 million millennials in the workforce, and that is expected to grow. So the question from employers that I get all the time is, how do we inspire these millennials? How do we engage them? And how do we retain them to drive your bottom line? So I invited Alex Carson from Promo Experts to join me today to answer just those questions. Hi Alex.
Hi.
Dina Redinger here. Glad to have you on our show today, a little podcast. Get lots of questions from employers around how to keep millennials engaged and inspired and retained, and it's so valuable to hear from a millennial what millennials think and what their needs are from the employers that they work for. So what we do know that the fact is 30 million millennials in the workforce that are born between 1980 and 2000, and they change jobs every 2 to 3 years. So I'd like to get your opinion on that. So how often do you change jobs?
I like to change jobs about every 4 years. I want to keep things interesting and exciting. I don't want to really stay in a spot too long because then things get stale and I just lose interest. So.
Yeah, very good point. Very good point. So what I hear you say, they love to be valued and they love to be heard.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, we hear a lot about that challenging and finding new skills. Is that important to you and from your opinion?
Yeah, it's very important. You definitely want to always be at the top of your game when it comes to your career. So learning things, within your career is definitely expected for millennials.
Yeah, very good point. So, if they're hiring somebody and they're onboarding, what I'm hearing is that is your first impression. Is that correct?
Yeah, I want to make sure, with the job that I'm at, that I'm not only, getting compensated for the job, but I'm also learning to further my career.
Yeah, excellent. And so I'd love to get your opinion too around mentorship and how important is that to you and your opinion for other millennials in that space?
Mentorship is humongous for any millennial because they need that extra help. The funny thing about millennials is that they're never afraid to ask for help, and so having that mentorship there will allow them to feel like they're a part of the team. Mm-hmm. They'll feel like they're trusted more and they're actually wanted a part of that company and everything.
That's awesome. So how quickly do you feel that mentorship should be instilled on that onboarding process?
Right away.
So not waiting is really important.
Yeah, because like I said, it's since millennials, your statistic was about 2 to 3 years, mine's about 4 years and everything. You want to make sure that the mentorship is kind of in your face, so we're not losing that interest. And by having someone push us along and help us with our jobs and making sure that we're learning as much as we can, we don't lose interest as much.
Yeah. Thank you for that, because there really is two roles, right? There's the manager role, and then there's that mentor role, mm-hmm. and they really don't cross over that, but they can help guide you through that process and keep you engaged. Is that kind of what I'm hearing?
Oh yeah.
Good, excellent. So tell me a little bit about that plan for success and how important that is to you being a millennial to having that plan for success.
Well, you always have to have some sort of goals for yourself, and so in order to succeed, you need to follow those goals, obviously. By having that success, it makes you feel like you're a better person. The millennials, they love feeling good about themselves, and having that success behind that is what really drives that.
Yeah, very good. So when you reach your goals, how important is it that you have kind of that recognition or prize at the end? What should employers be kind of looking around when they reach those goals?
Well, they should definitely reward you for doing a good job. It's not just compensation. Maybe it's time off, or maybe it's a good job email or a good job letter. Even as small as saying good job itself is great.
Yeah. So I really hear that there's a lot around that praise piece for you in that space as well, and probably for other millennials, I would think as well. So tell me a little bit about what it would make you feel like to be in a situation where you were able to give your employer feedback about how to make your current job better.
Feedback's always good. It's not a bad idea to critique on how someone is doing, and having that feedback is going to push them along even more to make sure that they're doing a better job, to show them, basically showing them what's right and what's wrong is allowing them to learn from their mistakes.
Yeah, very good. Do you think there's some sort of intrepidation around really sitting down to have that feedback dialogue? Do millennials feel comfortable being able to give managers feedback?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, definitely. Having the sit down face to face is always a good thing, because not only is it progressing the workload and how a person does their work, but it's giving them that face to face time so they can earn that trust with their mentor or their manager, and it will allow them to instill kind of more of a motivation to work harder.
Oh, very good. So, what would it make you feel like if the manager came to you and said and asked, so what can I do to make my job more meaningful and to help you develop? What would that do for you?
Yeah, I mean, it would make me feel like I could trust them better because they value my opinion and they value my word. So, I would definitely give them, proper feedback, and it would make me feel a little more professional in my sense, and definitely more motivated to get more work done.
So good. Do you think that has anything to do with the longevity that millennials stay in a job?
Yeah, definitely. It's building that trust to keep that interest in the job to stay longer at their position.
Mm-hmm. Good. Excellent points. So having that trusting relationship really does allow you that space for self-development is what I'm hearing. And having that trust with millennials is a really important piece of being able to retain and keep them engaged. Is that kind of what I'm hearing as well?
Yeah. Having that relationship, it will allow them to be more, to have a vast, broad view of what's going on. So they'll be interested in something over here and something over here, rather than just that one-track mind where they're like, okay, I'm just doing this and that's it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it's really an important piece for a lot of millennials to be able to be a part of sometimes the bigger picture of where companies are going in and being part of that vision of where they want to take that. I'm also hearing too that millennials are very philanthropic. So I don't know if you could speak to that piece for us.
Yeah, my philosophy is that business should not be a secret. It shouldn't be a secret. The higher ups should not be hiding what's going on to the lower millennials and everything. They should be involving them, because by hiding what's going on within the business, not only is it making it to where I don't trust you as much, but it's making it to where I don't feel like I belong. And so, if I don't feel like I belong, well, it's time for me to go. Yeah.
And I can feel that that's a real passion for you, isn't it? I can really feel that energy. And I also hear a lot about peer relationships. So tell me a little bit about maybe an environment where you have really strong peer relationships, and what did that do for your engagement at work?
Yeah, peer relationships are definitely something that should be focused on as a manager at the most. Having a peer relationship will allow people to collaborate better. Mm-hmm. They'll be able to get more work done. I can take my work and I can show someone and say, hey, what do you think of this? And they'll give me positive feedback or negative feedback, but nevertheless, I'm getting the feedback that I need, so I can then go to management and say, here you go. I definitely encourage peer relationships through, team building exercises, whether it's, just going out and having a drink at night, or, joining the bowling league, or even, going out and putting on a full-on kickball game.
Yeah. So what I hear you say is really managers and even owners of any company having employees with millennials really need to think outside of that box to try to keep that synergy going on with those relationships and opportunities. So, giving opportunities to get together as a team is important.
Oh yeah. With millennials and everything, they love their friends. So they want to have more friends, and by allowing those peer relationships to grow, they feel like it's a more friendly environment rather than just that cold corporate environment that a lot of people just don't want.
Yeah, exactly. And I also hear a lot about millennials really like to volunteer in places that they are passionate about.
Oh, yeah.
And it seems like, we like to say that there's differences in generations, but really there's not, because even with the baby boomers and Gen Xers, people still like to feel like they are valued in a place where they can actually give back. Have you had any opportunities within your career where you've been a volunteer or done something like that, and what did that feel for you?
Yeah, I mean, it makes you feel better as a person, but it also shows that the company cares about what you care about. One of my past jobs, I was a part of a grounds crew where we did things for the community outside of the company. Not only did it help you feel good about yourself, it was a great team building exercise. So it goes right back to the last point.
That's awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I feel a lot of passion with that as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think millennials absolutely want to know that their hours make a difference, regardless if that's at work or volunteering, peer relationships, mentorships, whatever that looks like, they value that place. And I think that's really a human quality.
Mm-hmm.
I get a lot of questions from a lot of employers that ask me, how do you motivate different generations? And, for me, with my company's coaching company, we really focus on, it's a people thing. It's an issue about people and how to get people together and how to get them toward a common goal and a common vision
mm-hmm.
that they are a part of. So it sounds to me like that probably hits on a lot of things that millennials need, but all generations need.
Oh yeah, definitely,
Super.
I agree.
Super. So, kind of wrap this up here and put our hands around this. Some of the most important things that I take away from you is really that trusting relationship that you should have with that manager, giving and receiving feedback, aligning goals and visions that would make you to be successful, but allowing you an opportunity to really stretch yourself within the company to make a difference for that company.
Oh yeah, nailed it right on the head.
Awesome, good. Well, great to have you here today, Alex. I hope this was helpful for a lot of people out there looking to hire, retain, and inspire millennials.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. And that concludes a great interview with the millennial Alex Carson from Promo Experts, that's answering those key questions I get all the time around millennials, how to keep them engaged, how to keep them inspired, and how to keep them retained. And if you are an employer and you have questions about your team and would like to get more about your team's performance, please go to my website, acecoachingco.com, so that we can have a conversation.